In the last episode, we somehow got this 37-year-old Honda hauling ass again, until it hauled his ass right back into my driveway. And since the Timu plastic parts decided to detonate on the 405 freeway, I had no choice but to rip apart this entire vehicle and secretly order the carbon fiber fenders from Heel to Automotive. The next step should be pretty easy, just wait. But life said, nah. Like that one annoying friend who shows up uninvited, rainwater slid into the ECU's DMs and turned my CRX into a full P. Diddy after party. Safe to say, she won't be running for a while. So what do? Pues a la verga? We don't quit. I threw the ECU in a bag of rice and pretended everything was fine. Until something incredible popped up in my feed. A 1989 Integra that hadn't moved since 1999. That's right. I don't know how I get this lucky, but when opportunity knocks, just do it! And strip every part that we need to turn this CRX into what I dreamed it could be. So join me in this chapter trying to save one car, part out another, and somehow keep my sanity.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
Crazy how one broken header panel can tear apart your entire car. And then life hits you with another teardown. Becoming a dad. Last episode, we found out the CRX had more problems than we expected. I pulled one panel and then ended up pulling the entire car apart. And during all this, I also stepped into fatherhood. So instead of just wrenching, I'm juggling diapers, deadlines, and a 1987 Honda that refuses to make anything easy. But every step still brings us closer. And trust me, both the CRX and I needed a tune-up after this month.
I'm tired, boss.
With the CRX being out of commission and no set lead time on replacement fenders, I did what any car guy would do. I started working on another project car. With the CRX waiting on carbon fiber panels, I needed not only momentum, but a way to get back to work. So I reinstalled the Z into the lineup, both for daily driving and my first ever track day. And if you haven't heard the story of how I got this mint Z32, good thing there's a link to that video up above. From changing the intake pipes, to changing the oil, to doing a full brake refresh, the Z low-key became my therapy car. I prepped it for my end-of-year track day as much as I knew how to, and well, let's just say the streets of Willow humbled me real quick. Turned out tires are pretty important. Now if you want a full Z track breakdown, or just more Z32 content in general, comment Z down below, and with enough interest, I'll work on dropping all the restoration videos I have for that one too. But for now, we'll focus on Rhonda the Honda. With the new year comes obviously new challenges. We still have the panels on back order, and 2024, well, is beginning to look like one hell of a year. The CRX is straight up saying, "You thought this build would be easy?" Just when I started to feel like things could begin to look up, rain exposed a sunroof leak. And my ECU, well, decided to short out right before my flight to Dallas. Can it get any worse? Apparently yes. With the parts still on back order, I vigilantly started looking for a replacement ECU and even considered sourcing an entire Integra for a D16 swap. But instead of beating the dead horse, I wanted to get my mind off the build for a bit. And boy, time I will have. I invited my friends and family to a cabin in Big Bear to celebrate my birthday, and well, get to shredding with some snowboarding, only to crack my ribs and delay everything all over again. It's still March. But I like to think in order to succeed, you first must fail.
There we go.
So when everything goes wrong, apparently the Honda gods throw you an Integra. What a beautiful dance of life. Even though I have broken panels, broken ECU, broken ribs, you cannot break my spirits. I find the 1989 Integra to part out and finally get the donor parts the CRX desperately needs. Let the teardown begin. I started inspecting everything this Integra had to offer. Brakes, sway bar, anything that could honestly transfer over. And I realized this car hasn't been registered since 1999. And crazy enough, the car was sitting down the street from where I grew up playing baseball. Crazy. Just when I thought life couldn't get more chaotic, I get an update from Star Command that I have 3 months to get this Integra out of the driveway in time for my son's birthday party. Meanwhile, I have to deal with no set deadline on replacement fenders. I'm knee deep in reverse engineering my broken fenders to 3D models. My first attempt at parting out a car, and my first ever eviction as the landlord. It's like I'm in a reality TV show, but I'm not getting paid and the drama is just me against me. Now my last goal was to try and save this Integra engine, but my borescope revealed a broken piston head, and it's safe to say an easy D16 swap is out of the question. Then came my deadline. I had no choice but to junk it and make do with the parts I was able to source. Now after a few months of wrestling life, listing and selling all the Integra parts online, and contemplating my next steps, I finally dropped off my brakes at my local powder coat shop for some work, and honestly, I think I picked the right color. What color y'all think I did on these calipers? Let me know down below. And with the ECU finally sourced, it looked like for the first time in a year, the CRX will move under its own power again. Finally, some positive momentum, but we're not out of the mud just yet. The brakes are back from powder coat, the new Integra pads and rollers are in, and I'm feeling dangerous. It's been almost a full year since the last real CRX progress, and I figured, what can go wrong if I just dive in? Spoiler alert, a lot. And you know me. Instead of laying out the parts like a responsible adult, I started tearing down the rear brakes like a Neanderthal with the socket set. And like a Neanderthal I felt, because once I got to the install phase, I realized I forgot the one most important thing that you need in order to complete a rear brake swap. The hub assembly. So instead of whining about it, I decided to pick myself up from my bootstraps and reverse engineer this hub assembly. How? With a 3D printer and some ganas. Oh, it also helps that there's a fresh pot of coffee. Over this past year, this build has tested me undoubtedly in every which way possible. But quitting now, especially now, was never an option. So I'm standing here asking myself the big questions. Do I find another Integra? Do I CAD my own hub? Do I take the L and go back to drums? Am I ever gonna get my carbon fiber fenders? As I start stacking up each and every failure, the leaks, the ECU, the delays, the missing parts, and realize this is just part of the game.
Ask any racer, any real racer.
Sometimes the move isn't to push harder. It's to slow down, reset, and keep showing up. And boom, just like that. As if the universe was answering my call, 2 emails hit my inbox. First one, your carbon fiber fenders are finally shipping. Second one, pick your part just listed another Integra. The hunt continues. The build lives on, and we are nowhere near done. Let this be a reminder. No matter the setback, no matter the problem, the build must always continue. Now, if you like this episode, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below, because in the next episode, we'll be tackling the brakes and installing the carbon fiber fenders. And like always, stay boosted.